Welcome into Moving the Chains. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside Jerel Hendricks. We've got a very special guest today, a great interview with Great Collegiate Academy head coach Adam Holmes. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, we appreciate your time as always. We really do. This is you guys' first time. Please check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc. Moving Chains, movingchains.com. Our podcast on Google, Apple, Spotify, etc. So, Coach Holmes, you're in your ninth season here at Great Collegiate. You're the 2021 defending 2A state champ now. Let's take a look back at last week's game. A 54-12 win over Newberry that clinched the region championship. What did you guys do well that allowed you to be successful last Friday night?
Well, Kevin, the biggest thing is that defensively, we kind of really found our niche. Obviously early on, coming off of a state championship team and you lose 6 starters on defense that were really good players. And, we talk about guys like the Torrey Kellys and the Zach Glenns and Jakias Hiltons and Savion Jones, and all these guys are playing college football somewhere right now. So we have guys that were in the program, but now it's time for them to step up. So really them just trying to find their way, especially through that 0-3 start. And playing really good opponents was kind of eye-opening for them. And I think in the long run, it's really going to help us out. But that was really it. Find our groove on defense side of the ball. Guys have really stepped up. I believe we're averaging about like 50 points in region play and only giving up about 10 right now. So those guys have done a really good job. It was nice to lock up a region title last Friday night. Even though we still have Keenan, if something were to happen there, we still have the head-to-head. So it's nice knowing that we're going to be a 1 seed heading to the playoffs. My defense coordinator, Howie Bear, gave out an interesting fact last week in our pregame talk that 75% of state champions are 1 seed. So to be a 1 seed is something that you want to really try to work for and to kind of have that advantage going in. Obviously, there's teams that can have won it from the 2 and the 3 and stuff like that. But typically, that 1 seed is always going to try to get there to a state title, and that's what we want to do. So we're just working towards that. But played really well. Newberry's a good football team. They're kind of a little bit of a rebuilding mode. But Coach Jeter's doing a good job over there. He's going to have those guys back. They got a really good young program over there coming up through. So we just played well in all facets of the game, and just we're excited to lock up our 5th consecutive region title.
Coach, you mentioned that 0-3 start. You did have a tough schedule out of the gate. You had Oceanside, Crestwood, South Atlanta, out of Georgia. But then you played Camden in Zemp Stadium and actually were able to pull off a 22-7 win for your 2nd consecutive year, beating those guys. Is that like the turning point there, or what helped you guys get rolling in that particular game?
It is, Jerel. I think that was really kind of the turning point of our season to kind of really get back on track. And like I said, when you play the Oceansides, and I could go through each game. Oceanside was a 14-7 game with 3 minutes to go right before the half, and we give up 18 points in 3 minutes and just kind of opened up in the second half. We gave up the opening kickoff, so it was kind of, wide open right there. And then we go down to Crestwood, and we're up 28-8 right before the half, and a DB gets lazy, and the ball gets over the top, and it's 28-16, and they get the ball in the 3rd quarter in the first drive, and 2 plays they score. So we had no other game. Then we come out 3 and out, and then they take the lead. So, and then we go down to South Atlanta and give up the opening kickoff for a touchdown. And then we battle back, and we're driving. I think it's 28-21. We're driving inside their 30, tied up right before half. Our running back gets stripped, and he takes it back 70 yards for a touchdown. So there's a 14-point swing. We battled back to 5, cut it to 40-35, but just couldn't pull it off. So we were inching there, but finally we had a great practice. Going to Zemp was going to be tough. We beat them last year and knew we weren't going to, sneak up on these guys again. They were ready for us, but we had a great week. We did a good job on defense side of football, really stopping their run game with their quarterback and all the things that they do. We made a big play on the defense side. Justin Pauling had 3 interceptions that game. Turning point was we had a short punt on about to their 30. So they're on their 30 going in. They were in a formation where we knew they kind of throw a little receiver screen. He jumped and went 70 yards for a touchdown. So that really swung it. And then we got the ball and scored. And then we scored right on the first drive of the second half. So, but yeah, to go to Zemp Stadium and win 2 years in a row against a good Camden team, they're going to be right there in the mix. I think they're playing Crestwood this Friday. That's probably going to be for their region title. Was kind of really our turning point. It just kind of clicked for our guys, offensively and defensively and the special team. So, yeah, we didn't want to have that 0-4 start going to non-conference. So that kind of really kick-started our season and try to make and made this run through conference play.
You mentioned this being your 5th straight region title. How special is this one after you guys, you said started 0-3, you were kind of written off by a lot of folks there. So how special was that to kind of turn the corner, be able to come back and still get that title there?
Yeah, a lot of, you think about things as like, things haven't changed here at Gray. We're still coaching the same way. We're still doing it the same way, but you know, you always got the fair weather fans. You hear the chirping in the stands, like what's going on? What's, you know, this and that, but it's just a new team. I mean, we had 15 seniors we graduated last year. We talk about all those guys we lost. So it was just a building block for our guys to keep working hard. But yeah, to get a fifth consecutive region title, I'll put it out there too. These seniors right now have never lost a region game. I think is key. And again, that's just we're building our foundation on here at Gray of just trying to keep, you know, region titles or something that give you 1 seeds. And again, we just want the easiest path to try to work towards a state title, and getting a region championship is really about the only way of doing that. So to win 5 in a row, I think it's pretty special. It says a lot about our program, about our philosophy here at Gray of what we want to do. And for our guys to come out again and play very well against a Newberry team like that and lock it up, I think is very key for us to kind of give us a week still. Got Keenan, but still we know that going in, we want to play well. Just talk to our guys about that right now. We want to finish off the season the right way to keep this momentum going into the playoffs.
So last year you won that state championship behind, all-state running back Casey Adams, rushed for over 3,000 yards. But how's it been this season, you know, kind of leaning on Riley State and going back to, you know, to more traditional passing offense at Gray Collegiate?
Yeah, well, I was just talking with my quarterbacks coach, Brett Bethune, about that. A lot of guys are doing a lot of different things. You talk about Riley, you know, he's had a 400-yard game down at South Atlanta. It was just something that we saw defensively that we liked, and we thought we could really throw it on him, and we did. But, I mean, you look at, you know, we've got 2 running backs. Caleb Ford has rushed for almost like 700 yards. He's averaging 7.3 yards a carry. BJ Montgomery has right at about 600 yards. He's averaged for like 8.2. Devin Johnson, who is our leading receiver, he's got about 200 yards rushing. So a lot of guys are really pitching in. Like Devin Johnson has about 700 yards receiving. Zay Alford has, I think, right at 500. Jamarius Lockett and Savion Jones have right at 400 yards. Everybody, I think our lowest guy at receiving touchdowns is like 5. So everybody's chipping in. And what makes it good about it is like, well, now, okay, you know, we had KZ last year and you still couldn't stop it, but still we got, you know, if you try to take away Devin Johnson, we've got a Zay Alford, or we've got a Jamarius Lockett. And I tell our guys every week, we don't know who it's going to be. Like last week, Jamarius Lockett hadn't had a lot of catches, but then he goes for 3 touchdowns last week. He kind of went off. He had a big game against South Atlanta. So again, you never know when your number's going to be called. When your number's called, you got to make a big play. And our guys have been able to do that.
You talked about some of those offensive guys there, Coach. Who are some of the guys on defense that have really kind of helped you guys, you know, recover from the loss of Torrey Kelly and Zach Glenn and those guys? Who's really stepped on that side of the ball?
Well, you know, at linebacker, Jordan Robinson is a 4-year starter for us. He's our senior middle linebacker. He's been a really good leader for us. Elijah Radden is playing both ways for us. Really good, 6'2", 285. He played both ways for us last year. He starts for us. He's kind of been our swing guy. That's one thing, you know, early on as well. I think we've played about 10 offensive linemen. We're finally in week 9. Then we finally have our starting 5 back together. So, but he's been a mainstay. He's played center. He's played guard. He's played tackle. We got him out at tackle right now. But those 2 guys have been key for us. But guys that have really stepped up, Kane Williams at middle linebacker, junior. He has about 115 tackles. He's done a great job. Zeb Taylor, just a sophomore, playing defensive end, I think leads our team in sacks. JT Sowell, who's our starter at center, played for us last year on the offensive line. He's double dipping and playing our center and playing the 3 technique. He's giving us a good job up front up there. We got Blaine Redmond back at linebacker. We've actually moved him down to a defensive end. He's just a hybrid guy, athletic kid that's really fast and can run. So Blake Croft is a junior. He's been a 3-year starter for us. He's playing some of our bandit linebacker, but he's athletic enough to push back at safety. And then Zay Alford's playing our corner. Savion Smith, both those guys are double dipping, doing a great job at DB. And then I talked about Justin Pauling, who's came to us. This is his first year playing. Has stepped up he was starting at safety, but now he's kind of our lockdown corner and has done a really good job. So again, all these guys are just getting their feel, and it's finally started to click for them. So all those guys have really done a good job. But just want to go back real quick. Then on offense, talk about, you know, Riley's done a really good job for us as a leader. Like I said, I think he's right at 2,000 yards passing, 24 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. He's a guy who, had reps last year, and I tell guys, and you always want to have a backup quarterback. I really feel like if Riley wasn't, if we didn't have Riley last year, I don't know if we'd have made that run through some of those games where he had to step up and really play early on in the playoffs. Big one against Newberry at the end of the year, and then through Abbeville and Newberry, in Upper State Championship. So to have him back, and he's really progressed and grown as a quarterback. Just proud of his progression, and it kind of really runs through him offensively.
So it's a new region, realignment, the reclass of this season puts you guys at a bye week. We're catching you here in week 9. You guys have rattled off a lot of straight games. What are the advantages and the disadvantages of having a bye week this late in the season?
This is the first time I've ever had one this late. I've always been able with our region to get to put my own bye week where I wanted it to, but we've got a 17 region. So we've got 6 region games. And it was just kind of, we really, as athletic directors, it was a draw. We drew straws for it, and I got week 9, and I think Mid Carolina might've got week 10. It's been tough. Like I said, especially we got some injuries early, so we weren't able to get those guys back. But looking back at it now, having this week off, giving us a week right before you try to make a playoff run, kind of helps. I think week 10 would have been tough to take a whole week off and then go into playoffs.
Sure.
Hopefully, talked as a region, maybe we can kind of flip-flop it so the guys that had the late ones can have the earlier ones. But if we come back to it, we'll kind of be able to have a better plan for it. But that's the only negative, that you play 9 straight games and don't really have a break. But it's good to have it now, to kind of really heal up. And we're pretty healed, we're pretty injury free right now, so which is good, and especially have this week to kind of get all those other ones that are kind of nicked up a little bit to be healthy right before this last regular season game and right into the playoffs.
So heading into the playoffs here, Coach, last we heard the stadium is still on track to be ready to go for the playoffs. Is that still the case, and how exciting is that for you guys in the program?
It is. We had a meeting actually this morning with our guys. It looks like it's going to be, hopefully cross our fingers, we can win the first round playoff game, but it's going to be ready round 2, second game of the year. I think that's all we really have right now. If you look through the brackets, if we were to keep running, we'd have a home playoff game round 1, round 2. If we were to win round 3, we'd be on the road, and in Upper State, the H isn't on our side this time. So we have the first 2 rounds. We'll get that one game in here at the stadium, and it's really neat to see all the things going up right now. Our gymnasium's going to be ready January 10th, opening up basketball season. Our student center, which holds 400 people, is open right now. We've got that open. Our new wing that we added, 7 new classrooms. We started 7th grade this year now, so we're 7th through 12th. Has been really good. We have a B team middle school team, which is good for our program. What's great about what I've really kind of instilled in our football program is that I was coaching B team football last night. We were up at St. Joe's, and our B team won a game in triple overtime, 44-42. So we're trying to get these guys, the feeder system, get these guys to learn our system at an early age. So all of our varsity coaches coach all 3 teams, our middle school team, our JV team, and our varsity team. It's just something that I've always done everywhere I've been. Now, hopefully, as we get some new teachers in here, I can start passing off that middle school team. But I always really like having my hand on the JVs, because those are guys that will come right up, and we'll pull some JVs up for varsity for playoffs as well, to really know our system. And we've been successful at the B team. Our JV right now has only lost 1 game. They'll finish up against Keene as well next year. So it's been good to have all these different things, and to have the football stadium and the baseball stadium and softball field is on track. I keep saying football, soccer field as well. It's just really exciting to finally have everything here on campus, right here at the school.
So, Coach, you opened up the season with your sister school in Oceanside Collegiate, and they have been on an absolute tear this year. Their only defeat is to South Florence, the number 1 team in 4A. The question I have for you is, do you talk to Coach Wilkes, and do you guys, as athletic programs, lean on each other? And how has Gray's success with you winning the state championship last year, kind of upped the profile for Oceanside?
I think the one thing that we all have is really just the model of our school is how we really try to emphasize athletics and academics. The main thing of Gray and Oceanside is dual enrollment, of getting as many college credit hours as you can. You can earn up to almost 55 hours of college credit while still here at Gray on campus. You don't have to go off campus and take any of these classes at a college campus. So that's the main thing. Be honest with you, Coach Wilkes and I, we don't talk much really. He's new down there as well. He's got a lot going on. I got a lot going on. If he ever needed me, we would talk, but he's done an amazing job, obviously, to get those guys where they are. Joe Call did a great job to get those guys, and I'm sure that Chad would tell you the same thing. But they've done a great job. They've got it's kind of like us. They've got a senior class down there now that's been in the program now for a while. So they're taking charge, stepping up. So they're a good program down there as well. Does it give them a little bit more notoriety from what we've done? Possibly, but they have their own notoriety down there. They've won a lot of championships in other sports down there. So it's not really us as Oceanside to Gray, but just really, I think what sets us apart a little bit is just really academically what we do with our model with the dual enrollment classes.
Coach, you're the AD as well there at Gray. You guys won 5 state titles last year across all sports. How cool was that for your school to kind of have that much success in one season?
Well, it was, we played for 5.
Okay.
We won 3, one in football, basketball, and softball. Played for it in baseball, lost in game 3 against Andrew Jackson, a good baseball team. And then soccer, we lost to Christchurch 2-0 up there. So, but just, again, to your point, I mean, to play for 5 state titles, I think is pretty amazing. And I don't know any school really last year that maybe did that. And to win 3 state titles in, a lot of your major sports in football and basketball, and play for it in baseball and win it in softball and play for it in soccer, I think just sets a testament of what we do here. We have amazing coaches. They do a great job of really getting the most out of our kids. We have great kids here that really work hard, that want to be here at Gray. And, I'm excited for all of our programs. We got a volleyball game here in about 30 minutes at 6:00. We're a 1 seed. They're a region champ as well. Hopefully they can make a run as well. They've done a great job. I think they've won 6 straight region championships. So for them being a 1 seed, we're excited for them as well. I'm excited for all of our sports. We started swim this past year. This was a new, I believe we had an individual place 2nd, an individual place 3rd in swim. Our cheer competition has done really well. I think every competition they've been in, they've placed 1st so far. So again, all of our sports have done a really good job. And it just goes back to the support that, we get through our administration, our principal, Dr. Newsom, our board of directors, to have that support from us and me just, I'm here for all of our teams. I want to see all of them succeed, and we've done a pretty good job at it so far.
So Coach Holmes, we'd be remiss if we did not, looking at the jersey behind you, that Carolina jersey, we'd be remiss if we did not bring up, you losing a close friend before the season starting and a staff member in Phil Petty. Just wanted to know how has this year's team honored the memory of Phil, and, how difficult was that, transitioning into the season, with that heavy burden on your heart?
Be honest, man, it's been pretty tough. Phil was one of my closest friends. We were thick as thieves. Since our freshman year, we've kind of been together. We're roommates in college, lived together after college, coached together at Hammond. And for him to come back and really he was really re-energized about getting back into coaching, was excited about it. It's a passion of his. It's something that I know that he needs to be, that he wanted to get into. He did a great job of it. Was an assistant in East Carolina for 5 or 6 years with Skip Holtz. But losing was tough, man. It's tough if you've never had somebody that close to you pass away, and at such an early age. And one thing it's taught me is you got to live life to your fullest. You got to, don't sweat the small things. You got to tell people that you love them. I tell our guys every day. We had a young player, Taekwon Taylor, that we lost to gun violence a while back. So every time before we called up as a team pregame, we give it up for Taekwon, and we give it up for Phil. If you look back here on my hat, this is a sticker that we've got, PP14. This is the hat I wear on Friday nights. I've got it on my hat. We've got it on all of our helmets. I've got it on my headset. And, you go back to that Camden game, and that was a Friday night Fox game. It was on TV here locally. And right before that game, Phil's birthday was the day before. And I feel like he was really there kind of with us. So that kind of helped out a lot. So it's been tough, but, you got to move on. Life's tough. I feel for Morgan, his wife, and his kid, McCoy and Sage, and try to keep up with them as much as they can. Want them coming up here to some games. But just to have him, and we've honored him, and I really appreciate all the people that have reached out to me about Phil and the loss, and in the coaching fraternity. A lot of coaches have really reached out, so I really appreciate all the support that I've gotten from a lot of people.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for sharing that with us and the listeners here, and we definitely want to send our condolences to his family. And then I've lost people close to me. I know that's difficult to share. Me and Kevin are Clemson guys, but we grew up watching Phil, and he's a great competitor. And it's awesome that you guys are being able to honor his legacy and performing so well this season. So thank you for sharing that with us.
You got it, man. I appreciate it. Like I said, and he's somebody that, just watching him, I was in awe when, I snapped on punts and field goals. I wasn't a main guy. So just watching him play and watching him compete, really leading our team through that 1-21 season to back-to-back Outback Bowls, his will to win and his competitiveness was a driving force behind those 2 years of the success we had. So it all stemmed off of him. He was our leader. He was our quarterback, and he's going to be missed, but he's never going to be forgotten.
Yes, sir.
Well, a couple of easier ones here for you, Coach. Let's kind of stick on the Gamecocks theme there. We're talking all fair. You guys are 4-2 now, big win over Kentucky. How you feeling so far this year?
Well, it was exciting to see for us to be 4-2 right now. It seems like offensively we've kind of hit our niche here and there. It's good to see, the running game kind of really step up with Marshawn Lloyd. It seems like we've kind of gone that route, and somebody made a point, I believe I was listening on the radio this morning, that when we've been successful, when you talk about when we played and under guys like in those 2000 seasons, and even when Spurrier was there, you had Marcus Lattimore, we had Ryan Brewer and Derek Watson, Andrew Pennick. You lean on a running game, and at that level you can't just sling it around in the SEC and think you're going to score a lot of points. You got to have a good running game, and I think they've kind of felt it out a little bit with Marshawn. It's good to see him be the guy that everybody thought he was going to be, and Spencer's done a good job, and obviously he's learned his system as well. So I think this to be 4-2 right now is kind of where I would have thought we'd have been. You play a good team. Only game I think we really was the Georgia game that we kind of just lost out on, but we were there. Against Arkansas, we battled back and fought back, just couldn't get it done. So you look at those two games. So again, I think this Saturday at Carolina against Texas A&M under the lights is going to be huge for them to kind of take that step and try to be in that, upper echelon of trying to win 7-8 games. That this game is going to be critical for them. So they're coming off a bye week. A&M's coming off a bye week. Like I said, I think we talked before earlier that A&M's coming with a new quarterback. So, people are like, hey, that's, you're playing teams 2 weeks in a row. That started well. Last year we went through 4 quarterbacks. So, hey, nobody cared. Yeah, right. Nobody was saying about Carolina last year. So it should be fun. It should be rocking. It's at night. Williams-Brice, Coach Beamer's done a great job over there. Really, really impressed with him. Knew him back when he was just an assistant here. He recruited when I was at Orangeburg Prep. He always made an emphasis to stop by. I didn't have any guys there that could play at Carolina, but he knew I was at South Carolina, played there, and he always made sure to stop by and see me. So I really appreciate that. I think he's a guy that's great for our program and is going to lead us in the right direction. He's going to be here for a long time.
All right, got to throw in our obligatory Moving the Chains food question. Down in Columbia, I know I always struggle with making this choice: Rush's or Zesto's, and then who else? What other places are you going to eat down there in Columbia?
Okay, one is not even close. All right, it's Zesto's. Okay, it is Zesto's all the way on the fried chicken. Now Rush's burgers are good, but still that Zesto burger, it's a double cheeseburger as well. It is phenomenal. Gus down there is a good friend of mine. I go in there and we venture in all the time. When I take my family in there, my 4 kids, we got to get the tub of chicken and 12 pieces of chicken and a tub of fries and sweet tea. Then their dipped ice cream cone is outstanding. I've posted on social media before. I know a good buddy of mine, Josh Stepp, who's at Louisville now. He always talks about eating his Zesto's. Now Rush is good. Don't get me wrong. It's got a great burger. But when Zesto's been around for a long time here in West Columbia, and it's by hands down my favorite place to go get something to eat.
Okay.
Love
it. That's a good choice for sure there, Coach. So we're talking now on Friday nights. Maybe you're on the bus getting ready for the game, whatever. What's in your pregame playlist?
I like all kind of stuff. I like rap. I like country. I like hip hop, R&B. I like 80s, 90s music. I'm one of my that I just listen to, just kind of tone like on my ride there. We're just kind of melling out. I like Pandora. I like Hootie and Blowfish Radio.
There we go.
Stuff along those lines. Was listening to and that I like Oasis. Old school kind of Wonderwall, Champagne Supernova, guys like that. Black Crows, Counting Crows. But I grew up in the 90s, so guys like Snoop and Dre, 50 Cent, Eminem, all those guys kind of get pumped up. Kind of my go-to song though, like right before the game, is Throw It Up, by Lil Jon and Eastside Boys. That gets me going. Huh?
Classic. That's
classic, right? You can't beat that one, right? If that one doesn't get you crunk, then something's wrong. But I've been listening to that since probably like, when I was at Hammond in 04. So but it's still something that really gets me. So, but like I said, I like all kind of music. I really do. I love country music as well. But that's kind of like to mellow out on my bus ride up there with kind of some stuff like that. But then we go right before the game. We got to hit it with a little hip hop or R&B like Dre or Snoop or Lil Jon.
All right, if we got any players listening, that's a great tip there from Coach Holmes. You got to listen to Throw It Up by Lil Jon and the Eastside Boys and Pastor Troy. That's always a classic one. But, Coach, before we let you get out of here, it seems like you guys, you're on a winning streak. You're peaking at the right time. How do you feel, heading into the playoffs? I know you got the game with Keenan next week, but how do you feel going into the playoffs as that number 1 seed?
Well, I think, early on, obviously we were nervous, with our start, but just to see our guys grow and mature, and fight through what I'm really proud about is how one thing I teach our guys about football is what it's always taught me, the game of football is how to face adversity. Your backs are wall. I face adversity with losing a friend. How do you respond to that? We face adversity by being 0-3. How are we going to respond to that? Go to Camden, no, we're not sneaking up on anybody. And we faced it, head on and did a great job of it. So I think that's what's critical, that we've already faced it early on. So you're going to see adversity in the playoff. You're going to be seeing great teams. And in 2A right now in Upper State, we're going down to watch Silver Bluff and Strong tomorrow night being off. That's going to be a great game. I think that's for a region title. Mm-hmm. We'll probably, if we were to win, you see both of those teams or one of them. And Saluda as well, that could be a second round matchup game. That's something that you don't want to see in the second round, as good as they've been and being, I think ranked number 1 at one point in the season. So I'm excited about them. I like the way we're playing right now on both sides of football and in special teams. So we're just ready to go. We'll, like I said, I told our guys to take this weekend off to refocus up, relax, enjoy it. We come back on Monday. It's go time, and it's time to make that run again.
Well, this has been great. Definitely want all our followers to go check out Coach Holmes and the Great Collegiate War Eagles on Facebook, Twitter, etc. They do a great job posting highlights, things like that. Like I mentioned, check us out, movingchains.com, all our socials as well. Jerel, any other questions for Coach before we let him go today?
No more questions. Just want to thank you again for being so gracious to us, not just with this interview, the previous interview, and every time we come in contact with you. So just want to thank you again for that relationship. And I just wish you guys continued success. Just really excited to see what you guys do in the playoffs. I'm really excited to watch 2A playoffs in general, just because there are so many good teams in that classification. But wish you well, and thank you again for joining us.
Well, I appreciate that. And like I said, if I just y'all guys, what y'all do, man, it's fun to follow y'all. I listen to y'all all the time. I appreciate y'all support of high school sports. It's great anytime we can promote these kids in all of our sports, but to promote high school football in the state of South Carolina, I feel like South Carolina is one of the best states for high school football. We're excited about all things going on, but I still want to get out here. Y'all were there. I want to thank Midland Sports Complex for letting us be out there for 4 years. We're going to miss it because we've never lost out there. So, we don't want to leave, really, to be honest with you, because we never lost, but as well. But you talk about, Jerel 2A, man, there's a lot of good teams in the Upper State. When you talk about us and Strom and Saluda and Abbeville and Silver Bluff, and then you got Barnwell and Oceanside, Woodland. I think Barnwell and Woodland is going to be a big matchup this weekend. There's a lot of good teams playing. There's 8 to 10 teams that I really feel could really make a run through 2A. So 2A has always been in high school sports has always been kind of a lot of parity there because there's some really good coaches coaching these guys up. So yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting in 2A football this year. Like I said, it's just who's going to be hot and who can make that run because there's a lot of good football teams out there.
No doubt, no doubt, Coach. We really appreciate it. We do look forward to catching up with you during the playoffs and seeing you at a game sometime soon.
You got it, man. Appreciate y'all again. Thanks a lot.